The Tourism Hub podcast, a podcast devoted to you and your excellence, providing inspiration and education for the entrepreneurs, experience makers, and excellence seekers of our industry to take your tourism business and career to a whole new level. And I am your host, Despina Karatius.
Relax.
Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you've tuned in to this episode of the Tourism Hub podcast, streaming to you live. At the time of this recording, we are going live across all of our channels on YouTube, on Facebook, and for the first part of this recording on Instagram. But the main thing is that you're here wherever you've come in from, and I am very, very honoured to have the privilege of a very special guest that's going to join us today to talk about his journey and his excellence making on this wonderful tourism industry of ours. But before I introduce Mr. Simon, who will be joining us shortly, I want to talk to you about some things that are inspiring me this week and beyond. Every week, actually, there is always something to be inspired by. Yes, there's always something that we are challenged by. That's for sure. It's not to discredit or to ignore the challenges. And if you haven't had the chance to see our episode and our conversation yet with the wonderful Dr. Nazrin, I would highly recommend you listen to her insights if you are experiencing any challenges around your mental or emotional. See, she's already in my head. Rather than saying mental health, be addressing it as your emotional health, to be asking yourself, how am I feeling? How am I feeling this morning? How am I feeling through a situation that you might be, ruffled by? And I think that can change the framework. What I am inspired by is, with my work with Tourism Tribe and Navi Digital, speaking with so many tourism operators from around the country, I'm inspired, and I'm excited for what's to come for the Victorian industry, because it has been, and now I think we're starting to see the light that it has been, in a way, opportunities that we are about to embark on as we come out of COVID. So that's something, and we have to kind of look forward to as we take those steps of keeping our communities safe, keeping our businesses safe, keeping our staff safe, and coming out of this to make that next step to recovery for our businesses. Now, I can see I've got my wonderful guest in the green room, per se, so I'll let him get settled. But something else before I introduce Simon that is also getting me inspired is some work that my team, and I still call them my team, they're very much part of my DNA at Global Ballooning, have launched something really, really exciting this week. So at Global Ballooning, now this is an aviation operation. So I was very much there and heavily involved as their CEO and MD for a period of time pre-COVID. I've had a journey of about 17 years with them, starting back in 2002. But what I am inspired by what they're doing right now is that to really elevate Melbourne and give us something to look forward to, and to help their business and the team at Global, is the opportunity to build a We Are Melbourne balloon. So the way right now at Global Ballooning, we can't fly. We certainly, bookings have almost been, it's been quite a dire situation. So where they've innovated a whole concept is that you have the opportunity to go and buy a panel from a balloon and put on your message. So there's corporate messages that, it could be a corporate, there's 3-layered opportunities. So I'll just get Glenn, if you wanted to bring that up for a sec there, just to give the global team some love. So they've called this a love letter to Melbourne. And what it involves is your message. So there's 3-tiered messages, and $100 message that you can pop on there, a $300, a more extended 150 character message, and then you have the opportunity to buy a panel, like an entire panel of a balloon. So you can see from tag and name, share a message, and really stand out. So we were talking about innovative ways. Yes, the government support is extremely helpful at this time, and it has been. I think even up until now, the team, many businesses are surviving through JobKeeper and through assistance that is still yet to come. But making use of assets that you have in your business, of real estate that you own, whether it's digital or in our instance, and I still say I'm kind of like, this is like, I can't unballoon myself ever. There's opportunity here that, as we come out of COVID, we can also come out of this in a much more, in an inspired way to spread the message of love and hope over Melbourne. So this is something to be able to do this. You could go to mycause.com.au at events, and then you can search a love letter to Melbourne to go and have your name up in the balloon lights flying over the city. But without further ado, I can see Mr. Simon is here. So I will just take the time to really to introduce you to my guest. I met him a couple of weeks ago at an event that we shared the panel with, and I was inspired by his leadership, and I was inspired to just have more of Simon's time, and invited him at first opportunity to come and join us and share him and his insights with you. So to give you some context around our guest today and his work in the tourism space, really from a high level, and which I think will serve and support a lot of our fellow entrepreneurs and experience and destination makers that are listening. So Simon, he's currently the Executive Director of the Australian Tourism Industry Council. He's also the Strategy Director at Royce.com. So with his work at ATIC, we love our acronyms in tourism, Australian Tourism Industry Council. This is a position that he's had for over 12 months now. And with the work that he's doing at Royce.com, this is a 50-year-old boutique corporate advisory and communications firm that he also contributes. 25 years of senior executive experience inside some of Australia's most prominent companies. This includes Qantas, it includes Tourism Australia, and BHP. So all senior leadership positions in corporate, regulatory, government and public affairs. He's made major impacts in these roles around Australia's visitor economy, and a former senior manager at a regional airline where he was executive head of corporate relations and a member of the startup executive at Jetstar Airways. So you can see a wealth of experience, and having access to his insights and his lay of the land of where things are is something that I'm excited to welcome him. So Simon, welcome. I can see that thank you so much for making the time to join me this
thank you.
This afternoon.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Wonderful. Look, Simon, I want to get straight into things. That with your work in tourism, you've got a strong academic background, in Asian studies and communications. Now, through your own pathway and career development, what was it that inspired and motivate you to follow your path in tourism?
Well, thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to your listeners. Look, yeah, it's a great question, Tasmina. I think I grew up in a regional centre. I grew up in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, beautiful part of our great country, and I didn't have any tourism or aviation experience in my household growing up. We were a farming family and had and developed some. My parents developed businesses in the motor trade, caravanning, as well as in retail. So where I got inspired around tourism, as you all do, is through your travel. We used to do a lot of travel though as a family in caravanning, and got right around the country in caravans. So that was probably what was my first sort of outlier for tourism. And my parents used to travel a lot abroad when we were kids, but we never actually traveled with them. But I think where the connection for me with tourism happened is when I was working within the aviation industry. I worked for show my age a bit now. I worked for an airline called Impulse Airlines. We were a large regional carrier in the late 1990s, and we developed a domestic tourism, domestic airline in Impulse, in terms of extending our regional footprint into a domestic interstate offering. And I guess I started to see the benefits of aviation and tourism firsthand in terms of the type of work out, to be honest with you. And I just saw that connection more and more and I guess it's sort of drawn me back to the industry.
Thank you for sharing, Simon. So you have had I guess a personal insight into small business. So although your career's taking you to work at a really high level, you've grown up with small business as well, which is great to see. From what you see, what we're experiencing now, and with your insight and access to intelligence that you have from a national perspective at ATIC, how devastating has COVID been on our industry?
Yeah, look, it's just been horrendous. It really has. The industry, you can look at these official figures and their numbers, but I mean, they're quite dramatic. So in 8 months, the 8 months of this year, now we're now into September. So for the 8 months from January to August, our industry as a collective, as a visitor economy, was once valued at $150 billion a year, 152 to be exact, by Tourism Research Australia, and their numbers are very strong. They believe it's now with a 7 in front of it, so it's down into the 70 billions. So you just think about that for a moment. The industry is halved in value in 8 months. Now, that's partly been due to the fires. The fires probably had about a $5 to $6 billion impact, arguably a couple of billion more. We've had businesses, if they were pivoted towards the Chinese market, they lost their market share and basically their income from early February. We've had thousands of our tourism businesses around the country have been closed anywhere between 16 to 20 weeks, or have been operating on somewhere between 50, 70, 80% less than what they used to. Now, I know there are some green shoots, and we've got to show some optimism here. The drive market, particularly out of some of the capital cities in states that have low community transmission for COVID, are starting to come back. And some people are showing really good results, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm not at all disputing it. Could even drop to even a third of its pure value over the course of this year, but maybe at best probably half its value. That's really dramatic, isn't it? And given that, we've got about 300,000 businesses across the country associated in tourism, but probably about 45,000 in pure tourism. We could lose a third of those businesses out the other side of this. So it's
Now, you're a Victorian man. You live here with your family. You also can see firsthand how it's the impact that we have quite a different situation to the other parts of the country. Is this something, I guess, how is this being addressed for the state of Victoria and her region in terms of are we looking at a national level, particularly with your work at ATIC, of how Victoria will be better supported as you've mentioned, as other parts of the states or other parts of the country have really made leaps and bounds in their recovery, but we're kind of just starting to prepare for that now?
Yeah, look, we are the laggard here in Victoria, but I do want
We're
to
just having some
try to be.
technical difficulties,
I'm a very, very
Simon.
optimistic person, so I do want to be trying optimistic about where we do see some future, positivity. But
Oh, look, you're
should I
breaking
try
up
and dial back
there.
in?
I
Oh,
think
sorry.
yeah, I think that was something we're missing big chunks of what you're saying. I think just where we are and the connectivity
Mm.
of the broadcast at the moment. So we'll keep trying, but I might have to invite you to come back again, Simon, just because it's not giving we're not getting the best out
That's
of the
okay.
broadcast. So if I
That's
I
okay.
guess it's something that what I would love to ask, and we'll keep we'll keep persevering, having a strategy and having a plan. Now you're a strategist and you have had a lot of experience in taking information and taking big challenges like this and breaking it down for a small to medium enterprise that he is in a state of overwhelm, and particularly for small businesses that are used to just kind of well, not used to, it's more with limited resources, don't have the time for advisors, and taking the time to have a strategic approach to that next step when their market that they're used to, the business that they're used to having, they have to think about everything that they do differently. Any tips from reducing overwhelm and taking a few steps back to move forward and avoiding ad hoc activity of you know how would you apply some strategic thinking in a small tour operation at the moment when everything that they've used to that they've used to, I guess, markets and business operations that they've used to, that they had pre-COVID, now doesn't exist? So any tips around having a better planned strategic approach to change? Is Simon still? Look, we've lost Simon. So look, what I'll do and what we'll do, we'll carry on. We'll carry on at the moment with our broadcast, because I can see Simon's just had some unforeseen circumstances today. And we'll continue to make it work another time, because as you can see, he's got some great insights into what he shares, and I will.
Yeah, look,
Yeah. Oh,
I
there you
know that
go. You're still there. Sorry, I've completely lost you.
yeah, the link's not really good.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
see you. So this is my first experience in live TV, when things don't when things are not connecting. So I will let's just I will keep going here. There we go. So there we are. This is all a live experience. So what we are doing here, we have, if you're just joining us, we had Simon Westaway here come on and join us. He's the executive director from ATIC, and he is also a very experienced strategist. He does a lot of corporate strategy at his firm, Royce.com. So we will invite Simon to come back another time to finish off this recording of the podcast. But at the moment, what I really want to share with you, I guess, and what I really wanted to get the lay of the land with Simon and his insights is just how we, as smaller teams and businesses, want to really apply more strategy and more thinking and take this time through the back end now of a second lockdown to be putting a plan in place and bringing in what's happening at the macro level and drawing inspiration from our other states of what we can do to be coming back in, what we can do to take these examples and help our own businesses moving forward. But we'll get back to Simon another time with what his insights had, what insights and the conversation that we had planned. Because what I'm only not, I guess, this whole podcast came to be because I want to share his leadership style and his career path and all the other good stuff that if you've been listening to the episodes, you'll know beyond just what he does, but who he is and how he's gotten to, how he has gotten to this place and what keeps him motivated and inspired, and how he juggles it all. As you can see, he's a busy man, and I'm grateful that he made the time to join with us today, and we'll carve out that time again another time. Okay, well, what I wanted to share with you pre Simon, and what will, I guess, this episode is really also sharing with you that there are good things happening. I'm speaking to operators from around Australia who are getting really busy at the moment. Some are getting really full, like are booked out on weekends because they're, there's a full pot of local markets and locals that want to get out and do stuff in their own backyard, which is also something that's promising and very exciting. My cause and a love letter to Melbourne is what something that I shared with you earlier. Please look out for Kif and the team. I will make sure that we will have Kif and the team back on board. I see Simon. Glenn, if you could I'm not sure. I'll just check because I seen him. He's in the green room. And look, it's not too stressful because I'm really bringing you behind the scenes of a recording for a podcast. So I still want to speak to Simon and finish off the recording if he's there now and free and we can have a chat. And then we can make this into a really lovely podcast episode. So are you there, Simon? No, he's gone. Okay. So that is so he's gone. Okay, that is fine. Well, okay. So look, we will leave it. I think we will just leave it there, and we will have this conversation another time. But what I did want to share is a love letter to Melbourne. If you look at my course, something else exciting that's happened this week is that had the experience and the opportunity to launch a new course. So quick wins for tourism businesses, what you can do to ignite your business. So for businesses that need really practical, easy, zero cost things that you can do in your business at the moment, I've got a new, really affordable course that's available on instituteofexcellence.com courses, or the other way around, courses.institute of excellence. You can just, if you go to instituteofexcellence.com, you'll see a new course there, quick wins that you can do to ignite your tourism business at the moment. But apart from that, I think what we intended, we're going to have a take 2 with Simon. And I will, yeah. So Simon, this is okay. The Wi-Fi is just not connecting with him. So thank you, Simon, for joining. We will make a take 2. But look, it's good to connect with you guys. I think what COVID has really, in terms of what has kept me going and kept me getting out of bed every day at the moment is having the opportunity to meet people like Simon. I have never met more, been inspired by more leaders and businesses that are taking some really good action, just thinking differently. And you see from the likes of Global Ballooning, Take It Easy Tours that we spoke to on Wednesday. So if you haven't seen the episode from Take It Easy Tours on that we broadcast, just go back to the video library. Otherwise, have a listen out for that coming to you soon on the podcast as well. So we'll take this as a little check-in to say hello. From me personally, I am taking each day as it comes. It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth trialing new things. It's been worth reaching out to leaders like Simon to say, hey, I would love to hear your thoughts. It's been worth, I guess, just having the courage to change and doing things that not so comfortable in doing, and learning from that. You can see in the background there, I've got a sign up saying pressure is a privilege, and I heard that from Billie Jean King. I didn't quite know who she was, but at the Women's Cricket World Cup earlier this year, she was on a panel speaking with the leading women in cricket. So here was the 80,000 people at the MCG celebrating a world cricket final between Australia and India. It was my first cricket match and my first interest in cricket, to be completely honest, that I was at this final. Now, I was fortunate enough to kind of get a lanyard to the corporate box beforehand, and there was Billie Jean King, a tennis great, taking stage and sharing her experience as a woman in sport and her journey in tennis. But my most memorable thing that I got from that experience was she said, pressure is a privilege, people, in her American accent. Now, I had no idea who she was. I didn't. The name Billie Jean King didn't ring a bell for me. Now I will never forget her, because that comment there when she said, people, pressure is a privilege. She's an American tennis great. I was like, wow, I've never quite heard that before. Pressure is a privilege. So if you're feeling the pressure to get things done in differently, if you're feeling the O word of overwhelm, feel it and own it and know it's there, because you're doing something great. You're feeling that. You're feeling the pressure because you have a responsibility to do something beyond of what is expected of you. So to hear that come from someone that really has left a legacy in women's sport, that will always stay with me. So even coming together now, we have, like, the unforeseen stuff happens. Here's a perfect example. I've been looking forward to speak to Simon since I met him a couple of weeks ago. It didn't work out. It doesn't matter. We're human. Things happen. We've tried. He's tried. We'll reschedule. We'll do it another time. Yes, it comes with an element of pressure, because I wanted to really impress how I wanted to I wanted to make the most of his busy schedule and his time. But you know what, like, we've got another story to tell, and we've learned something more about how to do this better than today than we did yesterday. So pressure is a privilege. Be easy on yourselves. If you are feeling overwhelmed, reach out. Recently with my team at Monarch, they've done something wonderful for the team and engaged in a employee assistance program. So also, not that employers might be feeling the pressure and the overwhelm, but also extending the level of support to employees. So just really looking out for each other. And that's what that is a key, that is a real key takeaway there. And there's things to look forward to. Another colleague this week said, you know what, there's a sugar rush coming in Victoria, but we want we want what's coming to us when we come out of COVID, and feeling the pressure of planning, feeling the pressure of the unknown, and feeling the pressure that, okay, we've got to change over who's going to stay on JobKeeper, who's not staying on JobKeeper, and how will we survive. Let's just say, like, let's make sustainable changes, and look ahead with what's, okay, how are we going to get through the next month, the next 3 months? What is the next, what could potentially the next 12 months look like for us? And that's something that I really I'm enjoying every single day with my tourism tribers. We're connecting with businesses and helping them make these plans. And to a larger extent, this is why Institute of Excellence even exists. The whole premise and motivation of starting a training and mentoring business was to ignite excellence in people first. It's got to start with you. It's got to start with me. It's got to start with we. So if we can hold ourselves to a level of standard of whatever that means for you, but always be thinking, where am I at now, and what is the next? What's one thing I can do to take that next step up from there? Well, that's a lot of learnings today, a lot of learnings every day. I am going to make another time and have a take two with Simon. There will be a take two, absolutely 100%. Maybe throughout the week, an evening throughout the week will be wonderful. And I am also, look out for an episode with Kif. That will be another take two. We had a great lengthy conversation during stage lockdown number 1, and we will back that up with the how different stage 2 was to our motivation. And that is something else. I mean, it's been very different feels, hasn't it? It's been very different feels in stage 2, where all that, like, oh, this is different, we get to homeschool and I'm going to do all these things that I wanted to do, but unfortunately it's something that we felt it. Things that got really real for a while there, but we're making plans. Well, really, this is effectively officially our last week for everyone that's in Victoria. So next, it will be kind of the final hurrah next Saturday. Okay, unless there's not much, I will take the learnings from this episode, and we will sending you all love. Thank you, Simon. We tried to make the best of it. If he's listening, thank you for joining anyway, and we'll make a new time for you. But until next time, my friends, check out all the other podcasts that are being dropped on Tourism Hub. Please subscribe if you have the means and the time and you have listened. It's showing me that there's a lot of listeners there on Tourism Hub, but there's not much. But I would love your feedback. Your reviews mean the world. If you could leave a little review on Apple or Google Play or Spotify, wherever you see it, it will make a world of difference to keep the resources going and keep these things happening. But until then, I wish you well. I give you love, and be excellent today and every day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And sorry it didn't quite work out. We'll try again next time. Thanks heaps. Bye. Thanks again for joining us on the Tourism Hub podcast. If you found this podcast valuable, it will mean the world to give us a review on Apple iTunes. We're also live here every Saturday at 2 p.m. across all the Institute of Excellence Facebook and YouTube channels. And you are all invited. Be excellent, and don't forget we also have courses available at instituteofexcellence.com to help you and your small business greatness.